couple miles north of here on 44, you'll see a new sign. It says, "Test water before fracking." It's right out front, you can't miss it. It's there because the Ohio EPA recommends that people have their water tested before fracking begins in case it gets contaminated later. These out-of-state operators breeze into town, set up shop, and start pumping God knows what into the ground. We certainly don't know what's in it. The industry doesn't have to disclose the chemical composition of fracking fluid. They say it's a proprietary formula, and they've rigged the game with the state so there's no transparency. These companies are already notorious for ruining the water of the communities they move in on. And that is why businesses are encouraging everyone to get their water tested. Tomorrow will be the 1-year anniversary of the biggest fine ever to an oil and gas company in Pennsylvania history. Chesapeake Energy's fracking operation contaminated water supplies for 16 families in Bradford County, and they were fined $1.1 million for it. In February, they were fined another $500,000 for poisoning a local creek. The burden is on local citizens to establish the quality of their water beforehand. It is a fracking tax on each and every resident who wants some insurance against the big driller poisoning their water. It's $360 for a composite test from Harper. And Harper cannot guarantee that its testing will stand up to a court challenge by a bunch of expensive suits. In addition, regulation of this industry is a joke. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine has admitted there is no transparency into what these companies are doing, that the current fines are inadequate, and that citizens have no easy recourse when problems inevitably occur. We saw what happened last year in the Gulf of Mexico when new drilling technology outpaces safety and regulation. I don't want fracking to have its own Deepwater Horizon disaster in our backyard. These companies exist to enrich their executives and shareholders, not to share the spoils with the communities they operate in. The best case scenario for residents of Shalersville is that we each spend several $100s out of pocket to get our wells tested and don't end up with our property values destroyed. If history is any guide, we'll just pay some fines, write it off, and leave it to the rest of us to deal with the mess. On Wall Street, they call that privatizing the profits and socializing the losses. Here's the thing though, they might see these fines as the cost of doing business, but my family is not a business. There is no going back to square one. Square one right now is that I can use my plumbing. Supplying us with bottled water because we can't use our faucets doesn't make everything fine. Square one right now is that my kids are healthy. Money will not remove toxins from their systems. These big companies have no stake in the long-term health of Shalersville's environment or in keeping Shalersville a great place to live. We do. We will have to live here long after they've pulled up the stakes and moved on to their next target. I am not interested in gambling on my community's future, and I'm sure as hell not interested in gambling on my family's health. Fracking is a raw deal for Shalersville, and I urge you